there is major conflict.
Yeah, in tough situations.
Until you start pushing somebody's buttons or they start pushing yours, you don't really know who they are. So once they're under duress and they're under stress and they're in conflict and their back's up against the wall, whatever comes out of them at that point, whether they're violent, whether they yell and they scream and they holler, they're temperamental, whatever comes out of them under pressure, that is at the core of who they are. And that's what I think a lot of people miss, because they see, like you said, you see what we want you to see. And if everything's fine, you think we're a great guy, and you're dealing with the new romance and all that.
Well,
but as soon as
it could
something
be
goes
vice
wrong,
versa as well.
absolutely, 100%.
So what questions would you guys ask? And I have a couple questions too. But what questions would you guys ask to try to dig out the real person you're actually talking to?
What's their
across from you?
5-year goal? What's their family values? And what are their intentions?
Those questions, if you asked a guy that was 25, he'd probably tell you.
25, he doesn't know.
Whatever
he doesn't
you
know.
want.
He could be like,
I mean, most 25-year-olds these days don't know what they want. They're just living for the
I would
next
say guys
day.
and girls 25 probably don't know what they
Yeah.
want. They,
Yeah.
they for sure don't know what they want. That would make sense as to why the statistics say more people are getting married after 30. Because maybe the first time, just because they're trying to be a little bit more methodical about their choices they're making in their partner, to maybe fix the mistake they made the first time, to not do it again. But I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to understand where you lack and what you lacked in the first relationship or the last one, to try to fix it for the next one.
Yeah.
And even then, I think it's just taking the PR away on that first date and say, hey, I went through this, and that.
That's what I do.
And I'm just kind of letting you know, so you kind of know what some of the things that I'm dealing with. And then after that, the person can be like, oh, that sounds like a lot. I don't think I'm ready to have to deal with those kind of traumas on with you through that process of learning it. But even then, how many of us want to go through the healing phase alone? Nobody,
Most
right?
people don't.
Yeah, nobody does. Usually, even if you're just having casual sex in your healing phase, it's still not really healing,
No, you
because
have
that's
to-
like you said, having the cast on and still, hey, you're supposed to sit down and not move, but that's still walking around the house in your cast, but you're not supposed to do it. Sure, it's the same concept.
Yeah, and most people don't see themselves as ever being an issue. Like they didn't have any issues, or they don't need to work on themselves. Like I wasn't the problem.
Yeah, that's
You know?
accountability.
And so it's like, no, I'm good. So they'll jump into the next relationship, and it's the same thing. You're facing the same problems because you're the common denominator,
Yeah.
And so it's just really, you have to take that time to heal yourself and figure out your next journey when you want to get into a relationship. What am I going to do different? Was I not communicative enough? Did I not listen? Was I not there for the important things? You know what I mean? And then work, and then maybe the next one will be better. But I feel like every relationship is an experience to
Get to the
the next
part.
level of somebody. And I mean, I don't know whether we're supposed to be with somebody for the rest of our life. I don't know.
That's
You know
so
what I-
hard to say.
It's so hard to say.
I don't mean to cut you off, but this reminds me of some shit that Ariel said. He said that most people either are, chasing fulfillment or they're chasing perfection. And from your point of view, it sounds like you're chasing perfection when, with the way Ariel would put it, is that, in order to be happy, you have to chase fulfillment and not perfection. Would you agree or disagree with what the lone wolf says?
Perfection. I feel like you're trying to make yourself the best person, your best self, right? I don't think nobody's ever perfect in relationship, in personal life, in career. You're never going to be perfect. That's an impossible thing to accomplish. But I think that people are journeys and people are experiences, and